Welcome to a Wednesday. We've got some hot weather, higher temperatures to talk about as we go through time. Last couple of days have been pretty pleasant. The temperatures around the bay anyway. Inland, Sacramento was under 9. They were like 98 degrees yesterday. Still hot, but not 105. That changes today. Temperatures in the Central Valley go back into the low 100s, 105, 106, 107 up in Redding. 103, 105 in Sacramento. Bay Area, we'll get back up into the mid and upper 90s, maybe a few low 100s. That's today. Tomorrow we peak with maybe 104, 103. And then on Friday we start to cool down. So the difference with this week and last week in that excessive heat that we had is last week when it got to 105, it just kept riding at 105, 106, 104, 103. For a number of days. That's not how this goes. The way this goes this week is we're going to be looking at, or not this week, but this time, is we're going to be looking at a 72-hour event, a 48-hour event, which is manageable. And when I say event, I don't anticipate record high temperatures. We still have fog at the coast. Let's start off with what we normally start off with. We'll look at the visible satellite map, and you can see the smoke. That's the Shelley fire. We have some air quality issues today in the Bay Area. Partially because of this, we're seeing smoke from the Shelley fire and then the lake fire down in, this is, you can see it maybe down around, let me point it out for you. You can see it down around Cayucas, yeah, kind of, more towards Buellton and those areas. So that's that fire. And it's creating a lot of smoke for Southern California, down further south, down towards Malibu. That smoke's drifting that way. So in the state, we have a number of fires burning, but the smoke plume's not really super visible on the visible satellite, but they're there, they're present. And these are big fires. The lake fire is almost 30,000 acres. That's our biggest fire. So with that in mind, fog at the coast, it's 12:30 right now. Fog is being restricted back to the coast. The upshot to this next 72 hours or 48 hours of heat is that you get to the bay, you get to the coast, you're fine. It's not going to be as hot, obviously, because the fog's going to hang out, which is awesome. We can take a look at this map. This is our current map, and I think this is very telling. I like this to look at this map only because, like right now in Redding, well, let me do this. It's 104 degrees in Redding right now. 104 degrees at 12:30. I don't even know what you do with that. And then Sacramento's 93 degrees or 94 degrees. Napa in Fairfield are in the upper 70s. And then along the coast, we're in the 50s. So you can see what the sea breeze does. And you can see the limitations of the sea breeze. You can see that it gets in this corridor, right? It kind of cools in that direction. But when you get up into here and down into here, down towards Bakersfield, the cool air, it's just fluid dynamics, right? It's too far for that cold, cooler air to go to cool those areas. So we don't see the impacts in those areas. So that's why Redding, Red Bluff, Bakersfield, Modesto, Fresno, those guys bake in this pattern. And this pattern is going to continue to bake them. I think that's the big story. When all is said and done, is just day after day after day after day of 100 plus degree temperatures in the Northern Valley and the Southern Valley. That's hard on everybody. It's hard on the elderly, hard on pets. It's just hard. Fog at the coast, you gotta love that. Let's see. Oops, I didn't want that. I wanted this, and I think there it is. Okay, so we can play it up again. I saw some guys crab, and one of the things you'd see at the beach a lot now is guys snaring crabs using fishing lines, and they just put. You see them down there with fishing rods. You think, oh, they're going for striper or something, but they're actually going for crab, and they just throw a basket full of, say, squid out there, and then they have these little snares, and these crabs get caught in them, and they reel them in. And from surfing out over the years, they do pretty well. They do pretty well. I don't see anybody out there now, but you like to be on a higher tide and on a smaller swell. I diverge. The Shelley fire, big. That is the one in Northern California. This is watch duty. And you can see those grayer areas, those gray flames. That means they're really got a handle on them. The big bright ones, this is down here is your lake fire. And that one is big, big, big. But as I said the other day, and I'm seeing that on a couple of these fires, and the Royal Fire is another example. Let's see how the Royal Fires do. No, they've wound that one down a little bit, but they've contained that 95%. But one of the things I'm seeing is, especially in this pattern where we're not seeing extreme winds, it's hot and it's dry, but with the Cal Fire, which has the largest firefighting air force in the world, they're jumping on these fires really quick, and they're kind of doing forest management at the same time. And I believe that's what we're seeing. I don't know this for sure, but I do think down around the Buellton area, down in the lake fire, I think they might be letting some areas burn because that's just good forest management, and they can get away with it because they're not anticipating big strong winds. The air quality does take a hit though, even with any kind of fire, controlled or not. And you can see the areas, Southern California getting a lot of smoke, and I think that's transporting in from the lake fire as well. And that's the wind direction. The winds are kind of northwest. And then you can see up around the lake fire, up around Weaverville and Trinity area, they're seeing a lot of smoke up there. So their air quality is the worst. So here's a 5-day forecast. And again, I guess I reiterate that the good thing about this is the heat is going to start up today. It peaks on Thursday and then drops off pretty quick. And that's what you want to see in these patterns. You don't want to see what we saw last week where it just went and just kept grinding through, because besides fire danger, air quality, health-wise, people, it's kind of funny. I was out the other day, and last Saturday it was 108 at my house. And I was kind of doing stuff because you just didn't want to burn a Saturday doing nothing. So I was walking around. I was working in the yard. I was kind of picking and choosing, probably like you do. And the next day I felt horrible. And I was like, well, I must have a cold or something. But I'm thinking perhaps rolling around in a $1.05, $1.08, and I'm, the high temperatures, and I'm like 65. And it's like, I don't feel old, but I'm old. And maybe that has something to do with it. So I'm guessing and pretty much surmising that that's what it was just too much heat. So anybody, we're all vulnerable, little kids, old people, middle-aged people. It has a huge impact. So be careful. Next 72 hours or next 48 hours for sure. But really the sweet spot for the heat is going to be Thursday. Today's a warm-up day. Friday's a cool-down day. So Thursday's the heat day. Okay, we'll see you back here.